It's Friday, July something. Sounds like Snark the Triumph. Yeah, I'm out here in my garden. Things are, I don't know, kind of mixed, I guess. The cucumbers continue to surprise me on how long they're looking good. Daytime they do wilt down quite a bit, but then they recover pretty much of a evening, especially if I water them. So you can see there's quite a mass of plants there. I'm not getting a huge number of cucumbers off of them, but more than I can eat. The tomatoes are looking reasonably well here, except this one on the end is looking very, very sad. That's my best one. That's my worst one. I'm afraid this one's got some kind of disease which is going to transfer to the rest of them rapidly. So I am going to yank this one out of here, and I won't be losing too many tomatoes in a way, because look at here, see, you can see what those tomatoes there look like. they are not good. That's probably some kind of blight. This area here is horrible for blight. If I leave here of a morning and go any direction from here, the whole world is less foggy than what it is right in this one spot of a morning, and the fog contributes to the blight. So that's why I have such a big blight problem. Let's see here. I'm going to yank this puppy out piece by piece by piece. I think really what it is I've had the tomatoes planted in the same place too many years in a row, and the pepper. Really pretty much everything's been planted in the same place too many years in a row. I'm going to have to do a little bit of crop rotation next year. However, the remaining plants look pretty good right at the moment, and they're starting to have a couple of red tomatoes on them. You can't see from this angle. You can see a lot of green ones. Let's see if we can find one turning red. Right there is one which is turning red. Right there is a couple of which are turning red, so they'll soon be ready to eat. The peppers, you know, sometimes you really can't tell so much by looking at them on video, but they're not thriving the way I would like for them to. There'll be a fair number of peppers, but I don't know. You can see there's a lot of spotting on the leaves, and like see that plant there, that one's just that one's just not going to live very long, much longer. The little peppers are just little short things, and they're turning yellow already. They're supposed to look like the peppers right here is what they're supposed to look like. So yeah, and I've already pulled one of these up right here, and this one's looking kind of bad, but there'll be a few peppers that come off of it. I don't know, the beans really aren't thriving the way I would like for them to. There's quite a few plants that's turning yellow and dying, and when you really get to looking, there's not nearly as many beans on them as what there should be. I know it's really hard to tell just from looking at this, but there's just far too many yellow leaves here. These will be planted in a different spot next year. Okay, now here's really a better view of the beans, and you may be able to tell from this distance that just how yellow the leaves are turning, which is kind of normal, but it's just a little excessive. Like I say, I'll get some beans off of these, but I think they're only going to produce maybe about a fourth of what they really should. The squash, on the other hand, is just about to take over the world. There's 6 squash plants there, and I mean, the video just really does not do it justice how big a mass of squash plants this actually is. I'm walking around it here so you can run over something, so you can get an idea about just how big a mass of plants this is. This is 6 total of 6 squash plants. And when you look inside here, it's just a jungle of blooms and small squashes. So yeah, overall this is probably, I don't know, it's over 3 foot tall, I guess, and it's just massive. It really is. So I'll plant these in the same spot again next year. And this is what the okra looked like. So instead of eating beans, I shall be eating loads and loads and loads and loads of okra. I mean, this is probably the healthiest okra at this stage, at any rate, that I have ever grown, except for maybe there was the one year it got 10 foot tall. That was the first year I planted it up there in my main garden. Let's see, this is going to be the tallest one here. Let's see if I can get it to focus, 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 focus. Focus, damn you. 25 inches. If I'd known it was going to be this healthy, I would have planted it 18 inches apart instead of a foot apart. You can see, like at the base of it here, it's nearly as big around as my finger at the base. It's just an extraordinarily healthy looking plant. So here's some, I put my camera on super macro. Didn't seem to make any difference. Oh yeah, there we go. Anyway, there's some buds just getting ready to come out right there. So I don't know, before it grows another foot, these will bloom out, I would think. So yeah, there you go. Okra! And right here is a little something new that's going on. This is where I don't have a compost pile per se, but I sort of bury my peelings up here, and this is where I'm going to plant the tomatoes next year. I figured if I just sort of buried my peelings in the garden that you know, it'd be kind of like my compost. I was just going to bury my peelings along in a trench, 2 different trenches along through here, and then you know, quit burying them a couple of months ahead of planting so they'd have time to rot, and then take that fencing that's right down there and put it up in TP form, sort of like it is, minus the telephone pole. Put it up in TP form. Put it up in TP form right along these trenches right here. Right now, where I started burying stuff, I have got, you know, even though I'm a gardener, when they're little, it's hard to tell the difference between squash and cucumbers. So I've got either squash or cucumbers and some potatoes, which I'll be pulling them up, coming up right in here. As you can see, it's really thick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to thin these out a little bit and mulch them down, and then when I determine which is the squash and which is the cucumbers eventually, I'll be pulling the squash up because I won't be needing them. I'll be tired of squash by the time these monsters go out. I'll be tired of them and I'll be eating okra, but my cucumbers won't last all that much longer really. And I'll see if I can get a secondary crop of cucumbers out of these things here that's volunteered. I didn't really show me doing it, but I just now mulched down and thinned out where these volunteer cucumber and or squash plants were coming up. Wound up putting a tomato cage over most of them. The tomato cage wouldn't quite fit, but anyhow, there they are. We shall see how this little volunteer project turns out here. All right, that's it. Goodbye, everybody. So long from the garden.